Hey, good morning, everybody. If we all want to gather around just a little bit, we'll make this fairly short and sweet. I'm Seth Waugh, and my only job today is really to introduce the mayor. But I'm the guy that had this crazy idea a few years ago that we could do a public-private partnership and bring it to something to life. And I made one call, and it was to a guy that I barely knew, who's now one of my great friends, and that was Keith James. And I think it's a great reflection of how partnerships and beautiful things can happen from believing that the initial handshake is actually much more important than any piece of paper that anything's ever written on. And that's how this happened. And so we're really proud today to be here. What a happy day. We want to have, this is a place that's got an enormous amount of history. We've got a little bit of that today with our friend Joe. We've got a look at the future over here with our folks who are going to hit a couple shots for us. And I think it's just, when we had this vision of it, we always thought about it as the park, right? A place that you all own, that the citizens of West Palm Beach owned, and we all own together. That we also collectively own this beautiful game of golf that we think can change lots of lives in a variety of different ways. And so that's what today is all about, giving it back to the citizens. We hope we left it a little better than we found it, Mayor. And we're really proud of where it is. And really, this is where it all begins. We have this beautiful golf course, but what we're really all about are the experiences that are going to happen here. Our kind of tagline, or really our mission statement, is open golf, and we think that says a lot in a little, which is basically not only being welcoming to everybody in golf, but really truly invitational to come walk your dogs here, to enjoy the amenities, play some games, have your kids grow up here, have weddings here, all the wonderful things that can happen here. And also that you play with joy. We want this to be a joyful place. We want it to be the happiest place in golf, and we want it to also be a reflection of civility. We want everybody to treat each other here like you would want them to treat your grandparents or your parents or your children. And that's really what this game is all about. That's what the park is all about. Someone once said, civility costs nothing, but buys everything. And I think that's a wonderful way to think about it. So with that, I'll introduce my friend, Mayor Keith James. One of the great joys of this thing for me is the friendships that we've cut along the way. And he is, Exhibit A in that. And we're really lucky to have him as a mayor. All the citizens of West Palm and indeed the county of Palm Beach are very lucky to have him. And I'm very lucky to call him my friend. So with that, Mayor Keith James.
Thank you so much, Seth, for that introduction. And it truly has been a pleasure to have you riding along with us on this journey. So thank you, and thank you. I know you changed your travel plans just so you could be with us this morning, so I truly appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. I know you all were nervous last night with the rain coming down, and even this morning. So was I, so I had to make a couple of calls, and here we got this, I know we got media in the house. That was a joke. I didn't make any calls. I'm just thankful to have this beautiful morning on such a momentous occasion, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But before I get started, I do need to acknowledge a few people here. Christina Lambert, who is the district commissioner. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you, Commissioner, for coming out. I don't see any other commissioners. I did see Assistant City Administrator Armando Fana, who just walked in. Thank you, Armando. Armando did a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the negotiations and with the Golf Trust, and so thank you, Armando, again for all the work, labor that you put into this. So here we are. April 17th, opening day of the golf park. And it is such a historical occasion. I'm getting a little bit emotional because I was talking to Joe, who I'll introduce later, and he was talking about and Seth was in that conversation, what used to happen here. You know, this golf course was not integrated until 1966, which, ladies and gentlemen, is not that long ago. And so here we are, as Seth alluded to, we call it the park. They call it the park because it is to be inclusive for everyone in our community. And you all have heard me say what my vision is, to make West Palm Beach a community of opportunity for all. So now we have a golf course that literally is open to all. But that was all off script. So I stand here totally amazed by what is behind me and what is before you. Seth knows that when we were first considering this site, we had conversations about what it could be and what it would look like. And I know he had his vision, but I have to admit, ladies and gentlemen, I could not have envisioned what we have here today. So Seth, again, thank you to Gil, to everyone involved, for this tremendous gift to our city. People will be astounded when they see this outstanding facility that you guys have built for our city and for our residents, especially the next generation of golfers. I think the process has been relatively smooth, and the progress is beyond amazing. So my staff and I were very proud to have helped bring this project to reality for current and future generations of golfers. Seth kind of alluded to it, but I want to give you some of the behind-the-scenes story. Seth first called me, it was in December of 2019, and shortly before that I had announced that we were shutting down negotiations. There was a group that had won the RFP back in earlier in that year, and they kept asking for extensions because they couldn't raise the money, and the proposal that they had put before the city commission, which we were begrudgingly going along with, was not only to redo the golf course and the clubhouse, but to put some condos and townhomes around the edges of it. So it was, you know, the golf course had been laying fallow since 2018. We knew we wanted something on this property, and that was the best option that we had, but they couldn't raise the money. So I had announced shortly after getting sworn in as mayor that I was going to discontinue the discussions with this group, no more extensions. Newspaper wrote about it. I think Seth read the story, and through his attorney, he reached out to me. So we had a first conversation in December. He told me a little bit he'd like to talk to me about what they were going to do. So we actually sat down and met in January of 2020. And so Seth shared with me what his vision was. And yes, it certainly included building a beautiful golf course. He thought that he could raise the money from some of his friends to make that happen. But I think what really closed the deal, at least as far as I was concerned, is what he said he wanted to do for the children. He didn't want to just build another beautiful golf course, but he really wanted to have a course that was going to have programming for kids and use golf as an avenue to teach kids STEM, engineering, math, arts, but also about life. And that resonated with me. And so I said, all right, Seth, well, what is it that you think you can do? What do you need? And he said, well, I think I can raise the money. And he said, but the catch is, I don't want to be part of a competitive process. Now, I'm the mayor of I was a mayor of a municipality, and still am, thankfully. Mayor of a municipality. If you know anything about city government, everything needs to be transparent. You can't have these kind of side deals. And so it was a little bit of a risk. I said, Seth, how much time do you need? And he said, I think about 18 months. I said, I'm going to give you 15. And so we shook hands on it. We literally did. Now, my job was harder. You know, that's when my job began, because I had to sell this to the city commissioners. Again, we were not used to seeing any kind of exclusivity with a particular group, but I knew what Seth's vision was. He continues to be head of the PGA. You can't have a better brand than that when it comes to golf. So I felt pretty good about the prospects, but it was still a risk. And so we took it to the city commission. We were able to get the vote, and I like to say the rest is history. I think Seth had initially wanted to raise about 25 or 30 million dollars, and they successfully raised 55 or 56 million, if I'm not mistaken. So it is the true definition of a public-private partnership. The city, we entered into a lease. Seth and his group, they formed a new foundation. They raised, and people, the donors, contributed money to the foundation, and then the city entered into a deal with the foundation, a 50-year lease, and there are options for renewal. So here we are today, and I am proud to be a part of that process, because of what I think now the city has is a beautiful, beautiful golf course. But not only that, we have a facility here that will help generations of young people, not only introducing them to the game of golf, but as I said earlier, introducing them to helping them with after school, with homework preparation, science, technology, education, math, arts, all of that. And most of them, if not all of them, will come from Title I schools. And for those of you who don't know, Title I schools are usually the poor schools in the district. So I have said before that there have been some who contributed to this. And Seth told me, because I wasn't privy to any conversations, but more than one donor has told Seth that, or even the people raising money on behalf of the charitable trust, that were it not for golf, they would not be who they were in industry. And some of them were professional golfers. They said if it were not for municipal courses like what we have today, they would not be the golfers that they are. So I in my mind's eye, I anticipate, I predict that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we will have young boys and young girls who will then be men and women who will come back here and say, were it not for the park, they would not be the lawyers, the doctors, the surgeons, the nuclear physicists, the astronauts that they are at that particular time. I predict that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the impact that this facility will have on generations of lives to come. That deserves a round of applause, please. So we're not only celebrating what we have today for this generation of golfers, but we are celebrating the opening of something that truly would transform lives for generations to come. Back to the programming, they will have a focus on academic and athletic development with golf-centric programming, from art classes to STEM activities, financial literacy, college prep and mentoring. The park will bridge the gap between the love of the sport and dedication to the development and growth of our youth. So, that pretty much concludes what I have to say. But the real stars of the show are about to come up, and I'm so happy that we have it's like life has come full circle here. The folks who are about to tee off represent not only the past, but the future of golf. So we've invited 3 golfers here this morning to tee off on this opening day. First is the former superintendent of the old West Palm Beach Golf Course, the first black superintendent of the West Palm Beach Golf Course, Mr. Joe Sellars. And Joe's going to do the first shot. Joe? Jarrell Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and now for our third and final tee shot of the morning, also a candidate for the path, is Ms. Sarah Valentine. Sarah is 10 years old and a fifth grader at Everglades Elementary School. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Concludes our program, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm proud to announce that the park is officially open.